flavor innovations and how the next trends are spotted, the best foods for great skin, and is pre-diabetes an epidemic? For May 30th, 2012, this is Food News Today. Good morning. Food News Today is sponsored by ConAgra Foods, who shares with me the desire to provide the most current, interesting, and unbiased food news. Diabetes and prediabetes have skyrocketed among U.S. youth, jumping from 9% of the adolescent population back in 2000 to 23% in 2008. To add to that, the CDC estimates that a staggering 79 million Americans over the age of 20 have prediabetes. Prediabetes is when blood glucose, sugar, levels are consistently higher than what is considered normal, but not elevated enough to qualify as type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes can double the risk for cardiovascular disease. A combination of excess body fat, sedentary lifestyle, and family history all factor into prediabetes. The findings regarding adolescents were reported in the journal Pediatrics by the lead author, Ashley May, an epidemiologist with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She and her team examined health data from the CDC's National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey on approximately 3,400 adolescents aged 12 to 19 from the years 1999 through the year 2008. The report also found that overall, 50% of overweight teens and almost 2/3 of obese adolescents have one or more risk factors for heart disease, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, or high levels of bad cholesterol. In comparison, about 1/3 of normal weight adolescents have at least one risk factor. Get your A1C tested, which looks at the average blood sugar over a 3-month period. You should also have your fasting blood glucose level checked. Normal is below 100 milligrams per deciliter after an overnight fast and before eating. Pre-diabetic is 100 to 125 milligrams per deciliter. Now onto something with a little bit more flavor. Earlier this week, I had the pleasure of interviewing Pamela Marcus, the Market and Consumer Insights lead from FONA International, the world-renowned flavor company that creates and manufactures flavors for many of the largest food, beverage, and nutraceutical and pharmaceutical companies in the world. She heads presentation development, category reports, and marketing research for the firm. So tell me, how do you identify new flavor trends and how do you test them?
Okay, we use a flavor mapping methodology called the Flavor Radar, and we look at new flavors and kind of map them. And we look at them from novel to everyday. We do this globally, so looking at everything from beverages to candy, ice cream, as well as in bath and body products. We're starting to see those types, not necessarily a flavor, but what would be a fragrance. It can turning into a flavor in a wide variety of mediums.
So if you had to look in your crystal ball and identify, what some of the new flavors are going to be in 6 months from now or a year from now, can you share with us two?
Sure. One is black garlic, which is very similar to garlic, but it's fermented. So the flavor is not quite as intense. So you can use it in a wide variety of different dishes. It's very popular within the Asian dishes. The other is probably a little further out than a year, but baobab, and it's a fruit that grows on a tree in Africa. And they also call it the upside down tree. So consumers love that story. So they want to be able to have something that they can connect to and kind of share the good news. And it's actually in a mainstream product, Pepsi Max, not in the United States, but globally, we're starting to see this flavor make its way.
Now, when we take a look at the ingredient labels on so many of our foods, clearly consumers and the industry is moving to more natural flavors. How difficult is it to achieve that?
To create natural flavors?
Yes.
No, it's part of our kind of repertoire. Natural flavors, you're right, it is becoming more popular and consumers want to be able to read what's on the label. They want to know what the ingredients are. So natural flavors is something that we pride ourselves in, and it's an expertise that we have.
Now, one of the things that I've noticed, certainly when we look at the aging baby boomer population, 76 million people strong, is as they're getting older, they're losing their sense of smell and they're losing their taste buds. How does that affect the intensity of the flavors that you create?
Well, that definitely ties to going to more classic flavors. They're not going to be as willing to try new things as of the millennial generation. So sticking with things like a grape, an apple, a strawberry doesn't have to be as intense because they may not be tasting it or they may not know the nuances of that flavor. So sticking to more classic flavors and using focus groups and other groups to determine how strong the flavor should be.
If you had any advice for supermarkets as it relates to the kinds of flavors that are on their shelves, what would that be?
Definitely be a risk taker. Not only sticking to those brands that consumers know, even though they're going to probably stick those in their grocery carts, but have a little section in the store. Target has them, specialty sections. Now they're working with premium or gourmet retailers, small businesses, and including them in their everyday section. So offer a tasting or offer a special section that allows consumers to go and try something new or experiment.
Thanks, Pamela. How would you like to have a healthy, radiant complexion? Well, you can by loading up on whole fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, and even proteins. To improve the color of your complexion, reach for carotenoid-rich fruits and veggies like mangoes, papaya, apricots, and carrots. Research says that cooked tomatoes are best at delivering lycopene, which protects the skin against sun damage. And just a half a cup of cooked tomatoes contains 16 milligrams of the lycopene. Vitamin C-rich foods do wonders for the skin. Think kiwis, sweet potatoes, lettuce, oranges, strawberries, all of which help to stimulate the production of collagen, which can smooth the appearance of those wrinkles. Flax seeds are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which quell inflammation, thus reducing redness and irritation, as well as improving cell membranes. Omega-3s are also found in chia seeds, sardines, salmon, mackerel, purslane, and more. So this summer, instead of just relaxing in the sun with lots of sunscreen, eat the right foods and watch as your complexion becomes a thing of beauty. Let me know what's on your food mind. What are your favorite beauty foods? And remember to log on to foodnewstoday.com anytime to access our archives or replay this episode as well as our transcripts. Thanks for watching.